I stand here at the Forks in Winnipeg, the birthplace of the Métis Nation, as a proud Métis citizen. The MMF was founded in 1967 with just a handful of employees and many volunteers who made countless sacrifices to ensure that the rights of our nation were upheld. Today, with perseverance and strong leadership, the Federation now has nearly 800 employees and is recognized as the government of the Manitoba Métis community. The future has never looked brighter for the Métis people. This is the Manitoba Métis Federation, past, present, and future. In the early days, many atrocities were committed against the Métis people because they had nobody to defend them and the inherent rights they held as a collective. The foundation of the MMF in 1967 looked to change that.
When the 60 scoop came, again, there was nobody to defend them. When the Hydro Northern Flood Agreement came, no one to defend them again, nobody to speak on their behalf. So the Federation really, truly, I think those visionaries. I think those leaders in 1967 that got together as I was only 7 years old then, as a people and said, look, we need to have a voice.
Eventually got stronger and stronger, and we were recognized as the Federation.
And some of them were veterans, some of them had religious backgrounds, some of them had cultural backgrounds, some of them were just proud Métis. And he said, we need to get together, we need to form a voice, a standard voice that will defend our people. And they did. And in 67, the Federation was formed.
One of those early visionaries was Edward Head, a founder and former president of the Manitoba Métis Federation. Senator Head spent the majority of his life fighting for the rights of Métis people, even when his health started to fail.
I am ill. I have a disease that my kidneys quit functioning. Some of my equipment is wearing out, of course, you know. But one of the things that the Great Spirit still gives me and won't take away is my thinking and my love for the organization and you people. I think I demonstrated that.
In 1996, David Chartrand left a successful career with the Department of Justice to join the Manitoba Métis Federation, which was at that time on the verge of collapse.
At the time, the MMF was going through a lot of pains. In fact, my understanding is that the MMF was in receivership. And I started doing odds and ends for the MMF, working for nothing. I was volunteering my time for the first few weeks and months.
We had no money, all funding was cut and ceased, and we didn't know what to do in the sense of how can we keep our doors open. We had the small little offices, we were on McGregor there, and we had about 3 employees left. And couldn't pay for the 3 employees. I couldn't pay for myself even.
There was 3 staff, $750,000 in the hole, and had no records. All the records had been taken. You know, like contribution agreements, of accounting system, everything was gone, history.
Don met with every creditor and said, look, we'll pay you dollar for dollar for everything we owe you. Just give us time, help us rebuild.
Peace Hills Trust had agreed to advance the MMF $450,000 to pay off its payables, and that was personally guaranteed by a number of board members, including President Chartrand.
We could have tried to make a deal with those $750,000 in debt. We could have went to the creditor saying, look, we'll pay you 20 cents on a dollar or 10 cents on a dollar. That's not what we intended to do. We still had a brand name to protect, a federation, the importance of recognizing the Métis Nation, our proud people, and we're not going to try to squeeze our way out of our situation by shortchanging people and then making the brand name Federation or the Métis people negatively.
I did a lot of traveling without getting my expenses paid. But I traveled with the Vice President and I drove her car for her. And Joyce would have to sit at the government offices for Northern Affairs and wait to see if she could meet with the minister to make sure we had money to reach our payroll. Well, I didn't get a paycheck then as a board member, but the rest of the staff did, so those kind of things we had to do.
When we first started, we were in a little office on McGregor Street, and now we're here on Henry with many offices, and besides that, we own lots of other buildings Our capital assets have gone from zero to the portfolio worth millions of dollars.
Acknowledgement from the provincial and federal government was hard to come by for the Manitoba Métis Federation in the early days, but years of hard work has led to an increasing attitude of respect.
As we are in a world where we have to redefine relations between governments, between communities, I think the MMF has a really important leadership role that it has shown, and therefore there's going to be expectations that it continue.
I think the Métis Nation is increasingly strong and great, and I think is a wonderful defining feature of this province. In no small way, thanks to President Chartrand's work and his determination.
Now I look at where we are, it's like night and day. But it's understanding and learning all those things, and I think it made us stronger. It made us better for who we are today.
While the negative stigma of acknowledging your Métis heritage has largely subsided, involving and engaging the youth remains a key priority.
I see a lot of them wanting to be a proud Métis, but a lot of them are all caught up in their life of going to university and to go to school and working towards their own careers and goals and stuff like that. So for me, I'm very lucky that I have my grandma that always pushes me to go at everything and pushes me to be as involved as possible. But those other people kind of just get involved with their everyday lives, and it kind of keeps them a little bit separated. So I think that a big goal of the youth is just try to, like the youth committee and everything, is to try to get the interest back in those youth to kind of, bring them back in.
The times have changed, and so that whole, and I know we talk a lot about our culture, and the elders bring it up often, and it's to get those young folks to understand the culture and to appreciate the culture and be a part of the culture.
The MMF holds an annual assembly that brings the elders and youth together to share stories and ideas. That link between the past, present, and future is vital to the long-term well-being of the Métis culture and Métis government.
It's a privilege for me to talk and visit with the people. It's something that I have time to do, and I enjoy. The youth, they're interested in this, so that's one good thing. Yeah.
Our elders are the holders of our culture, of our heritage, our language, our history. Who better to learn where we come from, what we've struggled, what we've had to deal with, what we've had to endure, for them to understand, for the youth to understand why we fight so hard today, why we stand up and don't want to be pushed to the back anymore.
We need to have the youth follow the footsteps of the ancestors and of course of the elders that we have today. And I think that's really good because the youth have to be connected with the elders in a really solid way.
Like in any government, arguments and disagreements are commonplace, but everyone works towards the greater good of the Métis Nation. Many employees consider the MMF to be their second family.
Every family squabbles, right? So a good fight within family is always a good thing. So that's part and parcel of what we all do. But one of the things that I do know, and President Chartrand and I have often joked about that, about if when it comes time, the people are there. Like if the Manitoba Hydro fight, if President Chartrand needed to have a demonstration today of the Métis people, he'd just have to say the word and he would have thousands of people here to support him. And I think that's what family is about.
You work hard, you put in your time, but you're treated as one of the family.
I call the Métis government, the MMF, my second home. It's my home away from home. I was fortunate enough to grow up not only around the government, but to be immersed in that culture. So to have that understanding of both of who I am as a Métis citizen, but to also have that firm understanding of our government and how it operates.
One of the main focuses that President Chartrand, our caucus, executive, management instills in us, all of us staff, is to make sure that we work as a family. We can't move forward without being that family setting and helping each other, whether it's through a tough time, bereavement-wise, or even just getting through a tough day. It's just that importance of always helping each other out.
While there are still many challenges ahead, the Manitoba Métis Federation has grown in leaps and bounds since its foundation in 1967. With strong leadership in place and passionate youth ready to take the reins, the future of the Métis Nation Manitoba has never looked more promising.
I can't wait to see the future of the MMF. I know that our province has such pride in who we are and where we come from and how we started this province. And if I know anything that I know from our president, I know that we're not letting down anytime soon. And so I can't wait for more pride and more stable support in our province.
From where it was to where it ended up to being where we are in our state in 2018 to where we'll be in 2030 to 35. You know, we're going to be far, far ahead. And it'll be because of this, the stars aligning. We're almost close to opening that door fully, and we're going to be allowed to come in and be allowed to be who we should have been in 1870. So I can't say, I could only say there's going to be great things coming, massive things coming, big changes coming, and I'm happy to be part of it.